All right, ladies and gents, here we go. Fnatic on the T side, SK coming through on the CT. Is history going to be made by SK Gaming today? Only time will tell. Fallen already rattling off some shots. He's spotted a couple of players. Doesn't really tell them anything, though, in the very early stages of the round. As we can see from the benefit of having the overview of the minimap, the bomb's actually over on the second mid side, so it's going to be a slower paced affair. And Fnatic yesterday, when we saw them playing on Inferno, very slow on the T side. We didn't see too many rushes, we didn't see too many lights out rounds, so you're expecting more of the same today.
Yeah, again, I mean, they do like to do some of these gathers, though, and that's what's going to happen here on this pistol as they do get those Glocks out in middle. They take control of brackets. They actually push Phelps off, and he has to go back into library. The smoke is up. They're going to start attacking into CT spawn. Phelps will hopefully be able to spot this. Meanwhile, B's being taken by Olaf, but Fallen, he's going to cut him off. But the CT spawn attack, it has come through, so it's all even. As now Fnatic can kind of take their time and think about this. Controlling this part of the map makes it very hectic for SK.
Certainly unorthodox. It's not really a position from a CT's perspective you're going to be in too many times, and they're going to start to come back towards mid, and that's where Taco and Coldzera will be facing off against them. Flusher, he's going to connect a Glock headshot and buying up enough time for the rest of his team to get that bomb planted. From library, Domes Flusher instantly didn't have a chance. Dennis will return fire. One of the best pistol players in the world. They'll be hoping to live up to that right here, right now, as he's already gone for 2, but needs to go for 2 more. And he's going to have a player coming around from the side. That's Fallen. And SK Gaming will draw first blood in the pistol. At least, though, Fnatic get a bomb plant. It gives them options.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, in the current meta, you could still see them do a force buy in the second round. Very heavy-handed with even extra equipment value being added to it thanks to the extra cash. But you could also see the save for the third round. Get those AKs out early. As this is just well managed by SK on the banana side of things. It really forced Fnatic to have to go back A after getting in the CT spawn, and then again, just good management from SK to pull it all the way through. And you're going to see Fnatic buy up really light here. I mean, they're going to get some 250s out, a Deagle on Dennis, but they're making sure to save up for that full buy in the next round. So that is what we're going to be waiting for. SK should have an easier time with this. We do see them putting some pressure on Banana early, just getting control of Car. Cole did take an aggressive peek in window, but does back down pretty early on.
With SK on full SMGs, the farming is certainly going to be on the cards. However, Olafmeister with the P250 decides that he's going to go ahead and alleviate Fur's head from his shoulders. Taco will very much rinse and repeat. JW, definitely a player to watch out for in this best of 3. Has bit the dust. Olaf going to come through for a second. They get isolated courtesy of an incendiary. That will leave Crims all by his lonesome for a few seconds before he's put in his place. And it has been a bit of a sketchy round, but this is where you expect the UMPs to start to triumph, and indeed that seems to be the case. Olaf only with 12. Has been the assassin for Fnatic this round with both of their kills. And does have a little bit of time to burn here, Dust, so maybe he can get another kill out of this, but I mean, this round surely going the way of SK.
Oh yeah, where the bomb is down at, there's really not much he can do. The only thing he can really hope for is to try to sneak in on someone, catch someone off guard, maybe pull down another gun, try to force a little bit of rebuying out of SK, not let them to bank up that cash as much. But he's going to be spotted by Taco, so no shenanigans to be had. But here comes the real buy from Fnatic, and curious to see what they open up with, because obviously the Fnatic of old with this 5, they were known to be the most extreme on the spectrum of being loose and aggressive, and just really using their individual talent to play like this loose style. Very good teamwork and chemistry to play off of one another, but still that structure didn't really feel like it was there. But this, you know, current iteration, they really do rely on playing the slower defaults a lot more than in the past, and we'll see. That's what they want to open up with. Usually Olaf and Flush are going to be trying to work Banana with JW in the apartments, and the rest kind of floating around, and that's exactly how this tale begins in round number 3, as we do see some nades being exchanged. But Fur, he's going to go aggressive.
Decides to try and use the UMP at close range. Going to be starting up through the smoke, not far off landing a frag. Flushes down to 68. The only Galil in play. He did go for more nades as a result of that, though. Had a molly at the start of the round.
So nothing special here from Fnatic. They've been pushed back on Banana. Taco is getting a little bit aggressive on the balcony here. Takes some damage, but is able to fade back. So still no blood has truly been drawn, as all 5 players remain for each side. Fallen getting a little bit aggressive there with AWP. Doesn't find the shot, but able to fall back. So no harm, no foul. And we still kind of sit at a standstill. But we're starting to see Fnatic start to try to fight for a bit more map control.
Mid being stamped down, but Phelps and Coldzera are going to be spamming through with UMPs once again. It's Phelps that claims the kill, and Dennis goes by the wayside. 40 seconds. We'll see Fallen rattle off an AWP shot. He is joined alongside Fur, so he doesn't have to worry too much if they start to push him. But time is getting scarce, and Fnatic, although they have got control over apps and somewhat mid, now that Crims has landed the headshot on Phelps, it's time that's going to be the issue. They haven't got rid of the likes of Pit. They haven't seen anyone on the site either. They're basically running in blind. Speaking of which, flashbangs are landing, but Taco stands tall with 2. Coldzera with a 3rd. And although the kill has gone the way of JW, he doesn't really have enough time to clutch this. Instead, he's going to be hiding and trying to save the AK. SK continue their winning ways. And JW may not be long for this wall. Down he goes after time. Salt in the wounds.
That's one of the problems that Fnatic has actually had throughout this tournament. Is we've talked about how they have, moved to a bit more of a slower pace as kind of their foundation. And the clock has been their worst enemy at times throughout this tournament because of it. We've seen, several rounds kind of come down to the wire and really just losing off and not having enough time. And that's basically what happened there, especially since the bomb just took such a bad toss off the balcony way deep in pit. JW didn't have enough time to backtrap and grab it and get back into the site. And so the first buy for Fnatic falters, and they will be back on just the pistols, and SK smelling blood in the water here, start to push down Banana once more with Fern. He's already collected a couple. So there's probably not too much to be seen here, as SK are off to a great start.
Certainly the case, the start that they would have been hoping for. Not so much from Fnatic's perspective. Still early days though, of course. And even in this round, it's not quite done just yet, although the early signs not pointing towards the Swedes. Not much is certain. 2 Deagles and a Glock. JW, of course, wants to pull the trigger on the AWP as soon as he can. Hence his complete lack of investment. Fnatic just hoping at this stage that SK will make mistakes and just gift wrap free frags, but SK not really the team to do that. Dennis will be put down by Coldzera, and Crim's the only player that has got himself on the score sheet for round 4. That may be the only kill that he gets out of this. Fallen's going to flash, pull himself back to the site. Bomb under control from the CTs. It's at the top of mid. And so Crim's forced back out into the open. 4-0. Confident start for the Brazilians.
Indeed, they've weathered the storm of that first gun round, but now Fnatic should be back to making a purchase here, and we'll see if they want to change anything up. They just want to stick with the default, just stick with trying to get Banana control apartments and just leaving all their options open. Problem was last time they just waited a bit too long to make that final execute, and the clock really killed them, so hopefully they'll pick up the pace enough to ensure that won't be a problem anymore. As we are indeed going to see Flush and Olaf again, just having this Banana exchange with SK as most rounds have kicked off. Fallen will be there with the AWP per usual, a spot he's always liked to play. Waiting to see if anyone's going to give him something to shoot at.
Well, Flusher, thanks for coming. Not going to get anything out this round. And JW also didn't have an AWP. I was curious to see if he would end up going for that, if he even had the funds for it, instead it was a UMP. Not that it matters anymore. So he's been eviscerated. Olaf Meister is going to give some form of hope. Not for too much longer. First silences him. Dennis and Crims both together in mid. Don't have control of the bomb. And Phelps is going to go down. Gets double peak. Taco there in hot pursuit for 1. Crims comes back with yet another. So at least now Fnatic are taking some weapons out of the hands of SK. They're going to make these rounds begin to sting. But of course, having a 4-0 start, potentially a 5-0, they've got money to burn at this stage.
Yeah, what is Crims going to do here? He's getting flanked around middle by the Rifle of Fur, who's actually pushing into T-spawn looking for Crims. Crims has some time to play around with. He still could make his way through apartments and plant in the A side, as the player over there is actually holding out in library. So there is a little bit of a gap that he can maybe fit through with the right timing. Looks like he will actually just work his way up lane side. So again, definitely a possibility for a plant. As Cole's actually going to have to wait a good while for Fur to get in position for them to tag team this up. But now Fur begins running up middle as he knows time is low and he has to get here.
And Crims probably just missed his chance. He may get the bomb planted. Well, in fairness, he's able to recover afterwards. That Sentry is going to destroy him, though. Fire or bullets, pick your poison. SK continue. continue their unbroken streak.
And it's good timing by Fur, realizing where the clock was at and knowing that he needed to get up middle to be there with Cold, and he gets the great timing. Also, again, it's just SK winning these banana exchanges, and that was a great shot from Fallen. Just SK always able to stay ahead of the trading game. Despite some of these entries from Crims, it was always SK out in front. And speaking of out in front, that lead is building big time, up 5-0, and Fnatic on a much more limited buy here. Flusha just on the Galil. Still a decent amount of utility out there, though. They haven't really been able to get an op-out either on T-side yet, which is something they really do like to do on either Olaf or JW. Particularly Olaf, actually, since JW likes to play apartments. But we're going to see aggression again, Banana, but this time Olaf catches it. Triple banana pressure opening from SK doesn't quite work out.
First time, really, Fnatic have got the opening pick, but instantly Fallen evens the odds, and he may be good to go ahead and tip it in SK's favor. His Smiley senses tell him there's another player here. Olaf Meister's going to get one. Is he able to double his tally here in round 6, or indeed triple it? He's already got 2 in this one. Bomb's still in second mid, so he's running interference.
He's holding Fallen in place. He's allowing his other 3 players here to work a 3-on-2 over on the A side. But Cold, he's going to take a peek here from Arch. Lands the option on the Dennis. That's evening the odds now. Back to a 3-on-3. Olaf will shift back over to middle as well now. So the focus is definitely here, as Cold has to fall back around the library.
Will get smoked off. JW gonna keep his sights trained on library. Moves through the smoke. Gonna try and get round the back of Coldzera. And of course, Fallen, he's not going to be rotating at this point. They haven't even seen the bomb at this stage. He's going to still be on B. This is a great call by JW. The downside is that Coldzera is not going to be here waiting for him. He's actually pulled back to the site. Both teams playing this one perfectly, but now JW is going to open up onto Taco. Is he going to be able to get any more from this? Coldzera lands the frag, and he's still on position on the site. He just needs to waste valuable time, allowing Fallen to get back around, but it's not going to happen for SK. This could be Fnatic claiming their first round, but it is the man himself, the brains behind the operation, Fallen. It's a difficult site to retake when you've got an AWP, but you don't have a smoke. You can't cordon off either of these areas. Be peeking onto the site itself, nothing showing, not even a pixel to work off. And down he goes. Fnatic, welcome to the grand final, 5-1.
Yeah, they just worked the numbers so well. After they had Olaf trade out great over on the B side of the map, they had the numbers advantage, and they just were able to manipulate things well on the A side. You know, Fallen was never really able to safely rotate, and getting that Moto wrap, getting that kill on the Taco inside pit, that was so critical. And so that is a point on the board. And you can see the money low for SK. Some of these rounds were close, so a lot of rebuying's been going on throughout the half. So they're already on UMPs and a CZ on Phelps, but Cold will actually have the 1 AWP for them. It's not going to be in Fallen's hands. Again, normally playing that B rotation position, they want Cold to have it at Arch side. So just kind of a positional decision. As again, Fnatic content just to sit on this default, you know, not really rattle anything, no real adjustments just yet. Everyone working their normal spots, getting that initial control of the map.
Lane's feeling to rain down onto B side. They try and draw out some of the SK Gaming's utility, but nothing forthcoming as of yet. No rotations. Keeping SK on their tiptoes, on the edge of their seat. Taco on balcony has just spotted a player. Time and time again, you will see JW play in these kind of positions. He loves to go and be apps. Crim's out through boiler. Gonna be Phelps, who is hiding on the Archer's side, but he has been bested. Did have the CZ, that's the worst weapon off the table. A slight silver lining on the dark cloud looming overhead for the Brazilians. It does retain 3 UMPs, and of course Coldzera's aforementioned AWP. They have no kits though. It's going to be a concern. Not much time left. Coldzera's going to go walk. He's going to go look for some kills, and there's one. And he's not quite able to survive as JW goes for the repeak, and that's up to Taco's UMP. How many, if any, can he get from this point forward? There's another one. He's not able to get to the Sanctuary and pit. In actual fact, he is somehow, someway. With 3 seconds left, Taco may have done enough. Fnatic have timed themselves out. What a horrendous way to lose the round, and if they die after time, it's going to be even more brutal, but they do retain both weapons.
That's twice now Fnatic have really had the clock be their worst enemy. That's the thing that's beating them in this round. It's also Taco, though. These are some really key kills with the UMP because they did trade out Cold pretty efficiently. They were getting in the site, but Taco prevents that bomb plant with 2 key kills. So really well done. They're actually able to keep the UMPs in play now as well and try to farm some more cash because they know Fnatic has a lower buy on the way. They do have double op, though. I think they picked up Coles and then they got another, so going to be able to put that to work. That has become increasingly more popular on T sides lately. G2 was really doing it a ton this year. We've seen Immortals and CLG doing it, and you know, Fnatic no strangers to it as well. Again, giving you that new look Fnatic, just taking it really patiently, and hopefully not too patient though. Don't want the clock to burn them again. We see Cold boosted. We haven't seen this used a whole lot this tournament, actually. So this may catch Fnatic off guard.
That is a fair point, but the fact that the left side of the smoke has been placed down will allow them to go for the peak. Crims was looking up there, but Cold's arrow was just simply too fast. Not the first time that we've said that about his aim. Incredibly on point. JW tries his hand with the CZ outside of apps, but nothing's really going to stick. And this is where the couple smokes have to be put down perfectly. If Fnatic want any hope of even getting kills from this scenario, to win the round seems like a distant dream at this stage. Taco with his M4 opening up in pit. Phelps is low, but still alive, and Fallen has gone down. The double ops starting to come to fruition. Not the greatest weapon to take sites with, but they're somehow making this one work. And now with low time again, they're looking to force their way on B. And this is all down to Fur, who goes for the peek and off, lands the shot. There's going to be just about enough time for the bomb plant. Have Fnatic really just pulled this off? Taco and Cold Zera may just want to save. We've already discussed how the economy for SK is terrible right now. And they are going to save us. Somehow Fnatic have just pulled that round out of nowhere. Yeah,
SK just got a hard reset right here. Look at their money. This is the only 2 guns they're going to have in the next round unless Fnatic goes hunting and finds them. And Fnatic just does such a great job of putting that pressure on the A bombs, like holding people in place, slipping one player into CT spawn, and then being able to fall back off middle without SK really being able to get that information. In fact, the one player who did push for it, I think, was actually Phelps, who actually got caught by the CZ of a Fnatic player out in mid, so then he couldn't get the flank off. And Fnatic just, you know, really able to pinch that B bomb site. So really good maneuvering for them to put a second round on the board. They'll maintain the double AWP setup. And again, they have SK's economy in shambles. So this is where they can start gaining some ground back.
Needs to start right here, right now, doesn't it? Because you've got SK in that perfect position for the KO. They're wobbling. Their knees are weak.
They force everything here as well, though. They buy up all that they can despite the reset. They know there's a chance to reset Fnatic right back. That's what they're hoping for here. So mostly UMPs out for SK. Just that one M4 on Taco. They do have a kit on him as well.
Feels like deja vu. The bomb being dropped at the same place almost every single round. Fnatic sending 2 players up. Banana deciding to then join the rest of the team. Try and come through apps with JW. Rest of the players on mid. You've been here before, you've seen it before, but Fnatic have managed to make...
This is a bit of a pacing change, though. They have come off of B a lot earlier than in the past. They haven't really maintained that top banana control this time. They really have much more of an emphasis on middle, so there is a slight variation going on here. But JW's been spotted, he's been taken out.
Krim smoked off, can't even get the avenging kill at this stage. This is solid work by SK. They're using the weapons to where they're strongest, and that's up close. Obviously, the M4 for Taco has a bit more free roam at range. Nice shot by Olof, and they're going to actually go for the boost themselves up there, Fnatic. Using it against SK. Smoking out arches, out into the open. Will come Phelps, and he wishes he had an M4 at that stage. Olof probably would have ended up dying if that was the result. But still, with all these smokes down, it is affording Fnatic to flank round the side of the site and put so much pressure on Phelps. Fallen's going to go down 2 without coldzera. Oh, he's got himself 2 kills. Crims was low. The bomb's been planted again with about 4 seconds left. And Fur seemingly hungry for a potential retake. Maybe looking for a weapon on his travels towards the A site. There are a few of them down. So much carnage has fallen here on round 9. Olof already with 3, continuing his solid performance this event. And yeah, this round's pretty much just slipped away. Fur has no chance now. Doesn't have enough time for the kit. He's just waiting for exit frags.
He knows money's still low on Fnatic. Forcing them to rebuy definitely can do a heck of a lot of good, as well as still farming up a bit more cash with that SMG and even upgrades to an AK. It's about the best he could hope for in that scenario. Again, Fnatic almost getting burned by the clock there. They just so happen to have the few seconds left they needed, though. Able to get those trades right there late. Really thanks to Olaf's AWP. That was actually the biggest part of it.
Jeez.
Again, he kind of shifted off of B a lot earlier than normal to put that AWP to work on the middle side. He got the picks he needed, particularly that crafty boost on quad. Like you noted, normally a CT position, but certainly Terrace can put it to use in the right situation. And they have forced SK to tap out. USPs only, except for that one gun Fur's been able to carry over. He is going to put it to use. That banana actually on an aggressive setup. They're not going to be able to go after that gun, though. Flush is holding them off from being able to put it into their arsenal. But at least they have the numbers. And maybe they can go for it later.
Yeah, but as you highlighted, that's the only weapon in play, really. Rest is USPs, so as soon as the charge starts to come to fruition on the site, you're expecting to see the CTs fall. But what is happening here, Fnatic? You're allowing the USPs to actually best you. Just running into a flat-out crossfire. Crims is going to get caught from the side, and it's just a complete shambles. Flusher's going to try and clutch this. A position Fnatic should never be in. And he's being tagged left, right, and center. Not only do SK win the round, they keep 3 players alive, albeit to pick up AKs.
That's so unforgivable if you're Fnatic. Just death by 1,000 paper cuts. Just USPs shooting BBs at them until they fall down. Ridiculous stuff. This should just not be happening, particularly how coldzera is able to get up here. No one really picks up on it. Sneaky little play. And so off of 1 AK and 4 USPs, essentially no money invested in the round, they're able to pull it off somehow and get Fnatic right back into a force. And again, they won't go straight to their default this time. They are trying to do a bit of a pacing change, maybe something a bit faster at mid once more. This is actually allowing SK, though, to freely push down Banana. They haven't quite tried to get in flanking positions yet, but at least they're getting the information.
Info, of course, very important, but you've got to be able to convert off that, and Phelps is going to go down. Okay, the Tech 9 starting to really rip through the armor of SK. Taco's been here so many times, they must realize it. The bomb's actually been dropped out, gets flashed a couple of times, can't see anything. Olaf, meanwhile, through the smoke, gets bested by Fallen. But he's on 12. The bomb will be planted, and Fur up on the balcony side of Apps has his work cut out for him alongside the weakened in-game leader of SK. Fur's going to drop down, spray just about on point, not going to land a second. Crims up on the boxes, all dispatch of him. And indeed, Fallen, I was thinking the exact same thing. You've got no chance. Just get out of there. Keep the AK alive. So Fnatic right back into this. And I was wondering if that previous round would really hamstring them if we'd start to see SK go off on a tear. I'm actually happy to see Fnatic bring it straight back.
Yeah, really well done. The best way to handle getting killed by no investment is to at least reset them right back and force them into a similar scenario, as money's going to be tight on a couple of their players. They did save 1 gun, though, and there is a little bit of money around there, so they might be able to put something together if they so choose. And that's more of the classic Fnatic, right? Like low buy, fast-paced play, somehow make it work. Back in the days of LD, CSD, certainly Fnatic was one of those same teams that were able to make low buys work. They still can with some of the players they have that are powerful with those Tech 9s, and it comes to fruition. To keep them close to SK, you do see SK go ahead and buy up what they can. It includes a couple of UMPs, but still a pretty good amount of utility out there. And that AWP is going to be a play again on coldzera, rather than Fallen, who's playing that B rotation position. So they've really put a lot on him. Flusha trying to get an entry here, but Fur, he holds on just barely, but it's enough for a frag.
Surprising that Olaf actually goes for that Molotov as opposed to bouncing it off and getting it on Sandbags, because Fur would have been absolutely screwed, but either way, both himself and Fallen down to 18 health. The B site is weak, and therefore Phelps is going to trade places. They need one healthy player over here.
Yeah, I think that he was trying to isolate the guy Sandbags, not allow him to fall back into the B site and not allow his teammate to come help him, but then the smoke came in so he couldn't actually peek Sandbags, so that might have been the thought. Or maybe he just missed and it was meant to go Sandbags. Definitely possible as well. So we do have the boost going on for SK over here at B side, and they're gathering up the Fnatic forces over there, so we'll see if this boost comes into play or not. It's usually checked, but with Phelps being up top as well, these are some tricky angles to deal with if you're trying to clear the site on the Fnatic side.
Yeah, expecting to see some flashes precede the push. Olaf going to be going straight through, landing the kill. No, he actually doesn't. Fur will get the upper hand on him. Phelps goes down, meaning, of course, that Fur is still very much alive and kicking with his low health. Finally, he is put down by Dennis, much to the delight of the crowd here in Jönköping. Now, Taco and Coldzera are thinking about a retake. They have a kit, they have plenty of firepower, but it's a lack of nades that could be the issue. Good positions assumed by the terrorist, and there's the double spray from Crims. Straight through the smoke into the head. And another round for Fnatic.
So Fnatic now on the heels of SK Gaming. They handled that double boost situation so well. Again, it can be tricky to deal with someone on top of those second boxes, on top of the boost CT spawn. But they get through it very well. And so now it is going to be 7-5, and SK are going to be essentially on a full stage. Just a couple of CZs. They've converted around like this with a little bit less, so we'll see what they can do as Flusha tries to farm with that MAC-10, does a lot of damage, but Fur again getting the opening frag here on B. He's done that a lot of times, actually. They've really been shutting down early banana pressure from Fnatic.
It's surprising, isn't it? Because you normally expect, even with a CZ, the MAC-10 is just going to rip through heads. It's not without loss of life, though. Fur is low alongside Phelps, so almost an identical position to last time, except much less weapons.
Yeah, Fnatic looking to gather up here at Banana. They do have some utility to smoke off CT coffins. They don't have a Molotov to clear out any of the box positions, but they do have the superior firepower, and there is no real early rotation from SK, so they should have a huge advantage.
I believe they also heard one of those nades actually land on Fallens. They knew there was a player there in the smoke. Gonna clear out the rest. Really nothing that Fur can do from that position. At this stage, it's just business as usual for the Swedes. Clean up what remains of SK Gaming. Coldzera, for him to even get a kill, is in amongst itself pretty crazy with USP. But it's still, of course, going to be Fnatic's round.
So they bring it one step closer. 7-6 will now be the score. Again, not much there from SK to fight back with. Nothing gimmicky either, which is pretty standard setup, and Fnatic able to roll through. So after a hot start from SK, again, at one point they were up 5-0. You now see Fnatic just a round away from tying it up.
Taco does get the kill, but he's not going to be able to get his hands on the weapon. Oh, I'd kind of like to see what happened with Taco. I mean, JW's a handsome dude, don't get me wrong.
You gotta like that smile.
But Taco didn't save his CZ, and he didn't get any more kills after time. We just skipped to that in time, but here is the take on JW's frags. 3 of them in total. And as you highlighted, Dust, went from a 5-0 start now to Fnatic breathing down the necks of SK. They have really turned this T-half around.
And they have Olaf on the AWP again. Again, this is a map where he's going to use it more than JW. Even though JW is the primary op, it's kind of map specific because he loves to work those apartments, not really a position meant for an AWP. As Olaf does take a good bit of damage, so does Flusha, really. So the B attacking force of Fnatic have been pushed back to T stairs, and they've come back with some scratches and bruises as well to show for it. Fur also bleeding out, to be fair. As again, it's just one of these typical openings to the round. Fnatic have not really done much to stray away from this. Only a couple of rounds on low buys where they've gone a bit faster. So they seem content just to kind of keep with this. Again, a bit of a new look for them when you think about this 5, but it's been working. They have 6 rounds on the board.
And you've got to respect it as well, because to start things off, it really wasn't working. As Flasher connects the headshot through the smoke, Fallen out in no man's land. They felt compelled to go for these peaks as a result of a lack of nades. But now they also lacked pure manpower. And although coldzera, as ever, is on the site, lurking, waiting for his opportunity to strike, you assume they're going to get a kill back on him eventually, and Dennis is the man to do just that. Phelps and Fur isolated from one another. Phelps can hear the bomb. He's getting planted right now. It's taken Fur a long time to start his rotation, so Phelps is going to have to wait here for quite a while. In fact, he decides to push through the smoke and lands one. But disjointed. No cohesion between the two remaining Brazilians, and therefore it is going to be Fnatic taking the round. And they could even be leading at half-time.
Certainly could be. Again, it's so great when you're playing your default and you're able to get entries on both sides of the map, essentially simultaneously. You know, Flusha throws down a spam, right as JW gets a pick on Taco in the apartments. And so now you have an instant 5-on-3. You've caused the defense to be lightened up on either side of the map. The rotations are going to be so difficult. SK are going to be forced to make some type of gimmicky play. And so just, it couldn't be a more ideal scenario for Fnatic after those two